Good morning guys, and welcome back to the channel. It's Chris from the Ultimate Recycler. It's Monday, it's just after 9 a.m. I thought I'd get an early start today on the Monday marathon video for this week. We don't have as much as last week because we had, if you remember, a double pickup last week, and that resulted in a marathon video. It's the only video I've done that's been over an hour, and I was actually thinking everyone would get sick of it. I had some really good feedback and everyone seemed to love it. Unfortunately, I'm not going to do longer format videos very often because it's too much work for me. It took 2.5 days, I suppose, in filming, processing all the stuff, pricing it in the shop, editing the video. It's a lot of work. So that was a 2 pickup week. It's not going to happen very often, but when it does, I'll deal with it. This week, we don't have a great deal because of that. We do have some pretty interesting stuff though. So we'll go through it. We'll see what we can save as normal. For those new to the channel, it's come from the charity shop. They don't want to deal with anything electrical. And normally, well, they used to take it out to the transfer station as e-waste. I'm usually able to save 80 to 90% of it, sell it through my shop. Don't make a lot out of it for the time I put into it, but the YouTube videos help. And more importantly though, this channel isn't about money, it's about keeping as much as we can from going into waste. It's very satisfying. I find that very rewarding. Rightio, let's see what we've got this week and see what we can save. Okay, a few bigger items we might get off the bench so that we can unpack the crates. There's a computer monitor and another hi-fi system. This one's a Philips. And we have the speaker there. There's a speaker in that crate. We have some smaller stuff in this back crate. And a couple of things. I did purchase something to flip. I'm not sure what it was. But this nice, cool old vintage tea canister. A bit scratched around the base. Original lid. Bakelite. Oh, it's actually, I think it's a pressed metal lid. Knob. It's pretty good inside. And I didn't pay anything for this because that was in our scrap metal bin. So I think that's a $10 canister every day of the week. Really nice vintage one. Probably dates to the 40s, I would think. So yeah, way too good for scrap metal. There was also a tin in their scrap metal bin. It's a modern one. It's actually a Simpsons tin. I'm assuming they're collectible to some degree. I'm probably only going to put $5 on it. But again, that's much better than it going into the scrap bin. I don't know if it's got a date. It should have a use by date somewhere. Best before 2011. So it's only, what, maybe 15 years old? Maybe less than that. Depends how old. I assume it had biscuits in it. Yeah, depends how long a life the biscuits had. So yeah, too good for scrap. We'll go for 5, but I will check them online to make sure they're not very collectible. I did find something to purchase, and I don't know where it is. We'll find it through the course of the unpacking. Right, I'll get the monitor off the bench and the stereo, and we'll test them after we've been through the crates. Okay, well, getting the speaker out of this crate was mostly its contents. We do have a keyboard, and there's a little handheld vacuum. I don't think I have the thing, assuming it was like a stick vac and this plugged in. No, this is just a dust buster, but I don't have a charger for it. So it's an unusual charging port. I don't think that's really worth my time to try and find a charger. We'll check that out anyway. Here's one of the items. It might have been the only item I purchased this week. It's a little Australian pottery jug. It had 50 cents on it. It's green, nice deep green glaze inside, black on the outside, and it's marked Alice, which I'm pretty sure was a Melbourne potter in the 1960s, maybe into the 70s. I know some Alice stuff can be worth quite a lot of money. You often get ashtrays and things like that and other ornaments marked Alice. But look, I think it's better than 50 cents. I think we'll probably try and get $5 for that. I will check it out online just to make sure it's not a sought after one again. But my gut feeling was that it's worth a lot more than 50 cents. Righto, let's get this crate out of here. So we only really have one crate to go through of small stuff and a bag on top. So what's in the Coles bag? A Nintendo Wii box. I wonder if it has that inside. The bag can go to recycling. And it looks like, oh, is that a Nintendo? No, that's just a DVD. Oh, Nintendo, okay. Batman 2 was nearly $30. Has the disc, has the book. Very good. The last Nintendo package we got from the charity shop I sold as one lot. And I don't remember, I think I tested it, or I tried to. All right, so this is another complete well, mostly complete. Here's the unit, the console. And yeah, last time, I don't remember if we tested it or not, I had $80 a lot on it. Maybe it was untested. So this one looks quite okay. And we have a power supply. And we have controllers. And we have, there might be other stuff in the other crate too. We have that's the cord that goes to your TV. That's an infrared sensor, I think, that plugs into your, or sits on top of your TV. We even have some batteries. Hopefully they're good batteries. They're not corroded. And we have some plastic, some bubble wrap, which I use in packaging all the time. The box itself, well, it is a Nintendo box, so maybe we should leave that with it. Oh, Nintendo pre-owned console. That's interesting. Is there a company that refurbishes them and has their own packaging and resells them? I've never seen that before. Well, we'll hang on to the box for now. And oh, here's a red Nintendo Wii console. And a red controller. And there's some other stuff in there that doesn't look Nintendo, but interesting. We have 2 Nintendo consoles. Well, that's pretty good. It's much better than getting dodgy kitchen appliances in the Ewaste. I know I can sell these even if they're not working. That's a HDMI cable. That's the controller from a electric blanket, but I didn't get an electric blanket, I don't think. Well, it's not here, unless it was still in the van. But I don't sell electric blankets anyway. I've tried before, even when they're near new and no one wants to buy them. And I usually just chop the cords off and they can go in the scrap. And the blanket itself I give away for free as dog blankets. We have a mixer, a hand mixer. That one looks pretty clean. It's a home maker, so only a cheap brand. We'll check that out. There are some Nintendo cords in here. Another infrared sensor. Looks like another HDMI cable. There's another red controller. I think these are all Nintendo cords. Oh, there's a power supply, good. And that's the cradle that the console sits in. What's in this bag? Lots of cords and power packs, or chargers. And a mouse, a Dell mouse. I think that's just a random collection of cords that someone's donated to the charity shop. After going through that little plastic bag full of cords and chargers, I made a few discoveries, which was good. Let's start at the beginning here. I found a charger that suits the Black & Decker Dustbuster, and I've charged it up. In fact, it even had power in it when I turned it on, and it's actually pretty powerful. So that's handy for cleaning out the car or something like that. I'm sure we'll probably get $5 easily, possibly even 10. I might even keep it for a car cleaner vacuum for myself. We'll work that out as we go on, but I'm pleased to find a charger for it. I checked the batteries. One was a good one. The other 3 were well below voltage, so that's okay. We'll keep the good battery. The others will go to battery recycling. I've sorted out all the Nintendo stuff. We'll give those a test in a minute. There was one Dell corded mouse here, which I'll check, and we'll probably put $5 on that. A couple of chargers that I'll hang on to because they're unusual voltages. That's an 8 volt. That's actually a rechargeable battery power pack. So yeah, 8 volts. Unusual. I always keep these little USB ones. I've been selling those at $5 each. I've put my price up on those and they still sell. This charger was 24 volts. So I'm not sure what that suits, but it's a bit unusual. This one, I think it was 14 volts, and I think that suits the computer monitor we've got here. So that's handy, I found that. The red cord I don't think went with the red Nintendo Wii. I think that's just an old Apple iPhone 3 or something charging cord. So I'll hang on to that because I do keep a stock of the different USB cords. These 2 items were in the plastic bag with all the cords. We've got a Telstra 4GX USB modem or a dongle. I checked online. They seem to sell for a fair bit. You know, secondhand $20, $30, $40. I don't know. I don't know if it's locked to Telstra. I don't know how to tell, but they still seem to sell. This one's a Telstra unit as well. It's a hotspot, I think. or something like that. And again, these were selling quite well. I charged this one up. It should even fire up now. And press and hold to unlock. There we go. It seems to work fine. I think it's got someone else's Wi-Fi connection there, but I did find the section in the settings to reset to factory settings. So that's pretty well a saleable item as well. It's actually looking a bit second-hand here, but it's still got the plastic. In fact, we'll take that off because then it'll look pretty much brand new. So I'm going to put both of these in the shop at $10 each. A lot cheaper than what they sell for online, but I'm not worried about that. Previously, I've actually found these in Ewaste and thrown them straight into my Ewaste bucket, so I didn't realise they actually had a market. If I can get $10 each, that's like just finding a $10 note in a bag of rubbish. So hopefully someone sees value in them. We'll put them in the shop basically as untested, and people can make up their own minds. You might remember this Apple TV streaming box I found last week. I put that in the shop for $5 untested. It sold first weekend. So I've been throwing money away with this sort of stuff. I'm not prepared to eBay them, but you know, I'm quite happy to put them in the shop and people can make up their own minds. Still got to test the keyboard. We have some some HDMI cables to sell. I don't think they have to go with the Wii. I found an adapter here. It's HDMI to VGA. I haven't seen one of those adapters. I'm not sure when I would actually use one, but I might keep it here. It could be handy. The only charger that I didn't keep, there were some that I chopped the cords off because they were just really common ones. And I've put all those, you know, the wiring and the plugs and everything into this tub. We'll see that when we do our summary on the deck. Most of the wire, well, all the wire in there will just go into my insulated wire scrap bins, and there's a little bit of rubbish. And the plugs will go to e-waste. There was one linear transformer, and every time I get these, if I don't need to keep them because of the voltage or anything, obviously chop the wire off. One hit with a hammer, and they usually split open, and you have a fairly chunky little transformer. Some are heavier than others, but the transformers certainly do add up in weight, and I'll sell those at the scrapyard. Over $1 a kilo now for transformers. So worth getting those out when they're so easy to get into. They're just basically glued together, and they pretty well fly apart with a tap with a hammer. So that's it. We still have to test some stuff. So here's the white Nintendo Wii set up on the TV. It powers up fine. This is my second time doing this because I've just filmed a 6-minute testing of it and realized that I didn't somehow get an audio signal. I'm not sure, something went wrong with the microphone. Hopefully it's okay this time. So it powers up, and I've put some batteries in this controller and it seems to respond. When I first did it, I did have to sync the controller with the unit, and behind the little thingo there's a red sync button, and under the battery compartment there's one here, so you press them both and they sync. And I didn't know that last time I tested a Wii, and you guys in the comments helped me out, so now I know what to do there. And we have we should have, there we go, we have the little pointer somewhere. It's a bit hard to get used to. There he is. Okay, so we can go to everything seems to respond here. I think you can go to photos, which I don't have. I don't know how this works. How do we go back? Go back to the menu, and I assume we go to disk to try a game in it. Please insert a disc. Well, we might as well put the Batman one in, which I did before. And I can tell you it works because I've done it. But let's show you again. I don't know how to play the game. I've never been a gamer, and I've never actually owned one of these things. I'm just learning about it by mucking around and by comments from you guys when I get it wrong. So it's reading the disc. Let's hope it works this time. I think it's working fine. Here we go. And we've got to find our little controller and press start. And it tells me to allow adequate room around you during gameplay. Well, there you go. I cannot play it because I do not have adequate room in my shed, as most of you know, for a lot less strenuous activity than playing a Wii game. I notice you need a wrist strap, so it must be a fairly vigorous game. Anyway, it appears to work fine. I did try the batteries in the other controller. Hang on, let's select English. I don't know what these do. They plug into these controllers, and maybe they don't actually come into their own until you're in a game. Alright, we'll eject that one. I don't know anything else about this or how to play this game. It seems to be just a massive big Lego story, but perhaps there's a game in there somewhere. But this unit works fine, so I'll work out a price, I'll package it all up neatly, take it to the shop, and I'll quickly check the red one before we move on to the other stuff. So now just testing the red one. I wasn't going to show you this, but I've got a problem with it, so I thought I'd show you the problem. I've powered it up, and there actually was a disc in here. It's Super Mario Brothers, and I couldn't get the disc to play. It came up with an error on the screen. So I thought I'd try the Batman one in here, and it has the same issue. So I'll show you what it's doing. If I power it up, so the power supply works, the controllers work, they've connected through the infrared. Press A to continue. And then when I go to the disc, please insert a disc. I've tried it both way rounds, but I'm pretty sure it goes in that way. It has I can't read it. For some reason, it's coming out with an error message. So there's something wrong with this console. The fact that it's done it on this disc that worked fine on the other console means that there's a problem with this red one. And it'll come up with a message in a minute. We've got a little controller here as well. And everything else looks to be in good order. But we have this, an error has occurred. Press the eject button and remove the disc, then turn the Wii console off and refer to the operator's manual for help troubleshooting. It might be an easy problem. It might be something to do with a dirty laser on the drive. I'm not sure, but I'm not going to muck around trying to fix it. I'm just going to sell this one as faulty, but we do have all the accessories that work fine, and I'll price it accordingly, and it gets it off the bench. So now we have to test, let's test that Philips stereo unit next. So this is a pretty impressive unit, this Philips. It looks like a space shuttle with all the controls there. It's quite a complicated unit. Impressive looking speakers. I think it's a lot better quality than the Thomson one we had last week, which was basically just a cheap unit. That did have a record player, though this one doesn't. We have twin cassettes. I assume there's a radio amongst all this. That would be a display. We have 3 CD carousel, I think. And I was looking, it looks like it plays DVDs as well. So it must be connectable to your TV. So it's got a DVD symbol here, MP3s. So, all right, we'll power it up and we'll see what it does. Let's turn the appliance tester on. It's coming to life. There's a few clunks. I guess it's searching for a CD. Let's go to radio first, tuner. All right. Okay, we have AM. That's not turning down. Volume saying 22. That's turning up. What's going? Oh, it's back down to 20. That's annoying. Maybe it's got a problem with the radio. Let's go back to disc and see if we can get it to play a CD and see if the volume works there. It might be particularly loud. So it says changing. I don't know. There could be one in here. We've had a bit of a run of CDs and DVDs being left in. Is that going to open the tray? I'm not even sure where the tray is. I guess it's something up here. Oh, it says disc 2. Maybe it's checking. Changing. Open. Maybe the tray's got a problem. Oh, there we go. Okay, it does open. Right, I can't see any CDs in there unless there were one at the back, so we'll put one in here. I think that's section 3 or disc number 3. Close that. Well, the tray seems to be working fine. Now, does it automatically pick up which spot the CD is? It's reading. It says disc 3, okay. Now, will it autoplay? And if it does, will it be super loud? Whoa! Oh, it turned off. Okay, we have no volume control. I can't leave that playing too long for two reasons. We have copyright issues and my ears are rather close to these speakers. I think you would have had some sort of idea of how loud that was. Okay, well, not much point testing anymore because it's got a crook volume control. Although at least we know the CD player works. I think the radio is going to work. We had AM, didn't we? I'm going to have to turn it back on to get that CD out. It'll probably auto-play again. Okay, open. Don't blast my ears again, please. Oh, now we've got some sort of fault. Flashing lights. What's this say? Unplug the main. Check carousel. Alright, so we'll better turn it off and turn it back on and see if we can get our disc out. Not sure what caused that. See if it'll open this time. There we go. Okay, I don't know what that was about. Oh, the disc's at the back. Can we change all the drawers out? Don't think we can. Oh, yes, we can. Beauty. Okay. All right, I think that's okay. We have a volume issue. Let's try it again on radio and see if we can go to FM. And where's FM? Maybe we'll press it twice. Righto, so there we go. Our FM hiss. We've still got no volume. Let's try tape and see if the tape works. We do have to try and fix the volume though. How do we open this? There we go. I'll put a tape in and see what it does. Now, where's our controls for the tape? Might be the same controls, is it? It is. Well, that sounds like it's going to work. Fast forward's working. I think it's at the end of the tape. I'll try that. Why is it saying tape 2? Tape 1 should be playing. Tape 1. I think it was playing the one with no tape in it. Let's try that. There we go. Good night. Righto, we still have no volume. Tape 1's working. We have to stop that. Oh, play. Stop. I'll try tape 2. And we're going to push it twice. There we go. Or once to get to tape 2. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. That's sounding a little bit slow. Maybe the belts are slipping a bit. But they both work. So really, everything seems fine. Both channels are working. It's certainly got plenty of volume. But we just got no control over that, so that does need fixing. We probably won't do that in this episode. I'll check out to see what these are worth. I would suggest a good service, maybe a couple of belts if we got it apart, because it did sound a bit sluggish there. The CD player seemed to work okay, although the door opening and closing seemed a bit erratic, but again, that might be just lack of use. Volume control is a real fault. I think it's a fairly expensive unit. We probably should try a DVD through the TV and see if that works as well. I've just plugged the video cable into the TV. I've got a DVD in disc 3 and I'm not sure why it's opening. Close. Reading disc. It's on disc 3. Play. There we go. Okay, so it's going to play it. I assume we have sound through the stereo because I only plugged the video cable in. Do we have volume here? No. Still stuck on 22. Oh, it's jumping around a bit now. There we go. So I still can't turn this sound down. It's going to play the video fine by the looks of it. I don't have a remote for this though. So if we push play, but I don't have any other way of skipping through the movie or anything, unless we can do it here. Pause, play. So that's working pretty well. In fact, it's much better sound than you would ever get from a little TV speaker. So it'd be a great way to watch DVDs, because you can spread these speakers apart and have a real stereo effect. We just got to obviously fix the volume. Okay, let's stop that. So that works well. Now, I may have said blender before, but it is of course a beta, a handheld beta. It's not branded, is it? It should be. Oh, it's a homemaker. Yep. It looks okay. It's got a few marks on it. Let's see if it works. I think this is our only kitchen appliance for this week, is it? I don't remember what was back at the start of the video. All right, we'll plug it into the appliance tester. Oh, it's already on. Lucky I didn't have my fingers in the beaters. So yeah, sounds okay. Goes through all the speeds. Doesn't have a boost. Some of these have a boost button, or a turbo button, which takes it straight to flat out. That sounds all right. It tests safe. It's double insulated, so there's no earth. The beaters don't look damaged, and they should just release via this button. Easy. All right, so probably only $5, but it doesn't really need much. Quick wipe over. Hopefully some of those marks disappear. It's safe and it's usable. That's good. We'll pass that on quickly. Now, it's a bad time of the day to film up on the deck. The sun's coming through, so apologies for the shadows. Here's our haul this week, and I forgot to mention, because I'd forgotten all about it, I did purchase something else. I got a large lampshade in good condition. I always like to buy lampshades because they're handy in the shop, and I can turn $2 into probably at least 10, maybe more, because a $10 lamp base becomes $20 or $30 with a nice shade on it. Christine's actually right here having a browse. She gets first pick at my Ewaste each week, and Coco comes to check it out because she just likes to do that. All right, we'll quickly browse through the rest of it. There's the items I've bought. I'm going to keep that little dust buster for cleaning out the car. A couple of cables there. We'll sell the keyboard and the mouse. They both tested fine, probably just $5 each. The Coles bag is just paper. It's all torn. Otherwise, we would use it at the shop, so it's going in the recycle bin. Some bubble wrap I'll use. Some chargers and cables that I will sell, but I didn't allow on the notepad. Some scrap wire, a little transformer, a little bit of rubbish, just that plastic bag. And we have the stereo that's going to be a project, so we won't write down anything for that because it's pretty hard to sell when the volume's set to annoyingly loud and you can't change it. The only e-waste we had this week was what's in this tub. Really just plugs and things that I've cut off the wires, and 3 batteries for recycling. Items up the top here to sell. I've talked about the Nintendo Wii and the monitor we've just done and the hand beater we've just done. So that's what we've got this week. Very little waste, almost zero waste actually by comparison. And a bit of scrap, bit of stuff to sell, another project, and a little bit of recycling. And that brings us to the notepad for this week, and as usual it's a surprising amount, but I've allowed 90 for the white Nintendo lot considering it works, and I'm going to include both the games, Mario Brothers and the other one in the packet. What was it called? Oh, the Batman one. So the whole lot there, all the controllers and everything, both games will get 90. Should be able to get that pretty easily based on what I saw them sell for on eBay. I'll put 50 on the red one. Even though it's faulty, it does include controllers and other bits and pieces, and it may be an easy fix. And the red one, I think, gets a bit more, and it may have been a 25th anniversary model or something. I'm not sure if it is, but most of the red ones I saw sold quite well. And then the other things, just as suggested, as far as prices goes, I've included the USB charger there, but all the other transformers and cords and everything I didn't write down. We have potentially $35 back on the stuff we either got out of the scrap metal bin or purchased. I've allowed $10 for the lampshade because it will add at least that to the value of a lamp base. I'm keeping the dustbuster. The Philips Hi-Fi will be a project and worth a fair bit once I get it fixed. We'll do a video on that. So good potential return there. And very little wastage, very little rubbish and very little e-waste this week. I'm pretty happy with that rescue rate. Last week's episode was this list, and we'd sold the Roland Mobile Cube amp straight up. I put a post on local Facebook groups of my 20 of my e-waste items. I do that every week, and that one sold straight away. The Apple, as I mentioned in this video, the Apple TV streaming box sold. The Thomson stereo, I actually, when I priced it, I thought, 30's too cheap. I've put a new belt into the turntable. Let's put 40 on it. It still sold the first weekend, so maybe I could have gone a little bit more, but it was a fairly cheap unit. I haven't sold any of the other things, but pretty good return from last week's already. Oh, and here's the rest of last week's. I forgot it was 2 pages because it was that super big marathon. So we've sold the kettle, the toaster, one of those handy heaters, the Anko clock radio, that was the one that was boxed. I haven't got these items on eBay yet. I was going to do them straight away, but then I realised they would finish on Christmas Day, so I'll hold off for a little bit before I put them on. And we've also sold the Bluetooth headphones. The hair straightener brush didn't get sold because Christine wanted to keep it. Given that now she's got short curly hair, she thought she'd try it. The retro lamp has sold, and also that was the red one, and the other kettle has sold. So we've done really well out of that lot in just the first weekend. Part 48 is just about finished. We have the Microsoft keyboard left, and we have the Acer 24-inch monitor. All the other stuff has sold as far as the electrical stuff goes. Part 47 is all done except for the 2 Uniden phones, and the Akai reel-to-reel won't sell because it's buried amongst my collection here where it will stay for quite some time, I would imagine, so that's fine. Almost ready to rule this one off, but we'll just check back the week before. I think that one hasn't been ruled off yet. So yeah, part 46 is pretty much finished as well. We just have the nightlight, a corded mouse, and that Sony adapter. I'm just going to leave those sitting in stock. So we will rule this one off. And I think part 45 we have to rule off as well. Let's have a look. Yes, this one's now pretty much totally finished except for that universal remote, which I have got priced up a bit. I'm not worried about that. You'll notice I solved those retro speakers. I'm not sure if I'd mentioned that. And the George Foreman grill actually fell off the bench out the front and broke. So that one's now obviously no longer available. So everything's pretty well right to go here. The couple of projects, the Panasonic Blu-ray player, I didn't write down anything because that was a project. I did a video on that. We put $30 on it and it sold. And also the Audiosonic Mini Stereo, I didn't write down. Why did I had $20 because we priced it as a radio. Was that right? I just forget now. I think that was one that we fixed, another belt for the DVD or the CD player, and I've sold that one as well. So that's good. The items I've put aside as projects I've actually got to fixed up and we have sold them. So we'll rule this off, we'll rule the next week off, and we'll keep checking back each week to finalise these deals. Keeps me on the ball with old stock. I don't like these things hanging around. Oh, as I just put a line through that, I realised it was the Lennox Mini Stereo that we had $5 as a radio only. I fixed the tray, we put 20 on it, and it sold. So yeah, I was looking through the phone rather than reading the list. So there we go. That will do for this week, going back through them because everything else previous to this has been finalised. And as I was saying, it's good for me to do these lists because nothing then gets left behind. Usually if they've been in stock for a few weeks, I might have discounted them once. If they're still there, they end up free. Nothing really has made it to free status for quite a while. So I'm pleased that it's all going, and it shows you guys that, yes, I'm not just making up figures and saying I sold it, but you've actually see a list where I have sold it, and that just goes to show that you can make some money out of this, albeit not a great deal, and it's more work probably most times than what it's worth. But hey, that doesn't stop me. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you in the next video. Bye for now.